I'm a OG boy. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. OG boy. Day we hustle, but the night we OG boy. Know that they ride or die.
Hey, you guys, what's going on? There's breaking news. Please forgive the background noise. I don't know who that is, but there's breaking news. Cal City boys' murder charges have been filed against the adoptive father of Orrin and Orson West. So I believe not only is the father going to be charged, the adoptive father, I believe now that the adoptive mom is also going to be charged because she is probably a co-conspirator to the case. Bakersfield, California, KGET, a stunning development has occurred in the case of missing California City brothers Orrin and Orson West, with murder charges filed Tuesday against Trezell West and their Trezell West, who is their adopted father. And I really believe they're going to go after the wife too, because she knows what happened. And I've been saying it from day one. She knows what happened. Trezell West was not listed in custody as of 5 p.m. He's charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, 2 counts of willful cruelty to a child, and falsely reporting an emergency. Orrin and Orson West, ages 3 and 4, were reported last seen on December the 21st, 2020, playing outside the home where they lived with adoptive parents Trezell and Jacqueline West, you guys. I knew that this was going to happen. I'm so glad. But if those kids are still alive, they're going to talk because they don't want to be in jail. They're going to talk because if they let them loose in the population, it's a wrap. Wherever those kids are, they need to be begging and pleading to bring those kids back if those kids are not deceased, okay? So I'm still hoping in my heart that these babies are very much alive. I don't want to believe that these people actually took the lives of these 2 children, okay? So I'm very compassionate about this story. Let me continue. It says, a timeline of events in the case of the missing California City boys, Orrin and Orson West, which is really known as Classic and Sincere. I forgot their last name, and I'm so sorry. Trezell West said he had been gathering firewood and briefly went back inside. When he came out, the boys were gone, he said. Okay, but when I listened to the audio recording, he said that he went in the house, the kids were in the house playing, and then when he went outside, he came back in, the kids were gone. Then he changed it and said that the kids were outside. So that lets you see right there that there is no consistency in his story. If you guys don't believe what I'm saying, I'm going to try to add that whole interview at the end of the story so that you can hear when he said that the children were inside the house, and then he said that the children were outside. So he contradicted everything that he said, and you could tell his body language was being very deceptive when he was tucking his arms inside his armpits. And there was another guy that committed a crime some time ago, and when they were interviewing him, he did the same thing. He tucked his hands in his armpits so that he wouldn't show any emotion. But I believe all along that Jacqueline knew what was up, and they were praying and hoping that they wouldn't be found out. So now the jig is up. I'm happy, and I can't wait to see what happens. I'm going to follow this whole story. Like I said, my prayers are that they're still with us, okay? Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. My prayers are that they're still above this earth with us. They were reported missing to the California City Police Department that day. The department searched the home and brought the West in for questioning. Police Chief John Walker told media in late December of 2020 that foul play was suspected, but nothing was found while searching the home. He said he didn't believe they wandered into the desert because a thorough search aided by a helicopter with infrared took place, covering a 5-mile perimeter. Excuse me. And other people actually were out there too. They were up there with drones, and they were doing all kinds of things. They were searching their butts off. I mean, they was doing it, and I give those people all the credit and kudos. So let me continue. Also, it was only 30 degrees Fahrenheit that night. Um, Walker said the cold would have slowed the children down. And you know, one thing, that's true. And plus, it was dark out there. Like I had said in my other story, when I was covering this, I was stating that even with my baby here, you know, when he see darkness, he's like, I'm scared. I don't want to go there. I don't care if I am walking with them. He like, turn the light on first. They're not going to just wander off into no dark. That's why I never believed them in the first place. They did something to those kids. Like they said, they either sold those children into human trafficking, or they did something else to them babies. And they did not think that they was going to get caught. Um, Let me see. Through the support of several local businesses and organizations, more than $100,000 in reward money was offered to anyone with information that led to the discovery of the boys. In early March of last year, the Bakersfield Police Department took over as the lead agency in the investigation from the California City Police Department. The FBI and National Center for Missing and Exploited Children were also involved. By June, the Bakersfield Police Department said 44 search warrants had been served, 83 people interviewed, and 170 items seized. Police did not elaborate on what was seized because they didn't want to give them a heads up. So I don't think anything's going to help these two at this point. I think it's a done data, and I think that once they get them into custody and they see all the charges and everything that's about to happen with them, I really think that they're going to stick to, you know, somebody's going to squeal. Somebody's going to speak, somebody's going to tell it, and it's going to be told the whole truth, the absolute truth, and nothing but the truth. So help them, God. I pray that these kids are still alive. I'm telling you, I'm praying. Police said 16 mass area searches had been conducted at that point, and investigators had searched 3 locations outside the state and followed up on more than 200 tips. Data was extracted from cellular electronic devices, and seized items forensically examined. So I don't know if they did something like through forensics, like through the data, and maybe that's what they found out, or they must have wrote something. I don't know what happened, but I'm glad to hear this news because it's been too long for us not to know what happened to these babies. All family members connected to the boys were interviewed. The boys' biological father, Charles Pettis, and that was Classic and Sincere Pettis, thank you, has filed a lawsuit against Kern County alleging officials were negligent in taking the boys from their parents and placing them in the custody of the West family. Pettis told 17 News in December he couldn't understand how the boys went missing after the county took them from him, supposedly for safekeeping. I don't want my kids to be deceased. I want them to come back, he said at the time. My kids is all I got. After my parents passed, it's just me and my kids. And so this is a horrifying thing to, this is sad. This is sad, you guys. It's really sad. So I'm going to go ahead and follow up and try to read some more and see what else I can find out. But they're still asking that you call the number in Kern Secret Witness 661-322-4040. Hold on a second. I'm going to see if I can find another story that can add more meat to this, okay? Hold on. Hold on 1 minute. Don't you go nowhere. Okay, you guys, I'm pretty much finding the same information on all the platforms right now, all the news outlets, that it's the same story, and it was released an hour ago that they were charging them with murder of those 2 babies, Orrin and Orson West, which is known as Classic and Sincere Pettis. So I said in my last story, I didn't understand why, if the mother was at work, why would they take the children out of the take the children from her when it was a babysitter at the house when the baby was injured? So I don't understand, and I think that not only should the father sue the actual police department, they should sue the children's CPS services for taking those kids out and putting those kids in harm's way. But I'm gonna definitely look and see if I can find the video of Trezell's lies. Okay, so you guys hold on, don't go anywhere. It might be a little bit lengthy, but hold on. I'm gonna go ahead and try to find it. And I know you see me clicking. Hold on a second.
Okay.
From our yard.
Okay. It was cold. I was gonna make a fire. So a lot of wood in this area right here next to our house. I opened up the back gate. I'm throwing wood, bringing it inside the house. My wife's inside. She was actually wrapping gifts, so we thought it was a good idea that our youngest two go outside and play with chalk in the back patio. Do not let them go on the dirt in the backyard. Keep them close. So I was playing with chalk, and I came in the house. I saw them there. I went in the house. I came back out. I didn't see them there. I immediately went back in, asked my wife, "Did you see the boys?" She said, "No, they should be outside playing with chalk." I said, "Well, I didn't see them," so I came back outside and I started searching my backyard. I searched the whole thing. I realized that I left the gate open, and I panicked, came inside the house, searched the house, me and my wife. Once that hadn't panned out, I got in the van. I looked down the street, both directions. It was getting dark, getting cold, and I got in the van and I hit a bunch of corners. I went down this street. I turned my light on. I searched. I called their names. Talked to a gentleman on the street on the other side over there. He didn't see me. So then I came home and I told my wife, "We need to call the cops. It's getting dark and I need help. We gotta get going." So I called the cops. Cops came. First thing they did was tell us to stay in the house so they can get a hold of us. And they had us just sitting there. We wanted to keep searching, but everybody came out in droves. And I wanted to thank you guys that night, but we couldn't go outside.
The cops told us the best are out here.
The best are out here searching. And we appreciate it, and nobody ever could tell, we could never talk to anybody, and that was the issue.
We just want to thank everybody.
I really want to thank you guys.
Please, if anybody has seen them, please call, let somebody know.
Call the cops, call California City Police Department. Call them and let them know what you've seen, if you see anything. Our boys, they are going to be rambunctious, okay? They are going to be here in this area, and I really would like to go in the houses, but it's not because I want to invade people's privacy. I just want to know if make sure. That's it. Because I don't. Go ahead. I'm sorry. If you got any questions.
Oh, no, you're good.
Oh, okay.
I was just going to say, this is the first time we're hearing from you guys, and I can't imagine what you guys are going through. I can't even fathom it. For you guys, for people who are thinking that there's some kind of foul play involved, we just spoke to the biological mother. She says she had a conversation with you guys, and that she thinks there's some kind of foul play involved. That she thinks you guys did something.
And that's understandable.
What's your response to that?
That's understandable. I would think the same thing.
Yep.
I mean, that's exactly the point. And if we can find our babies, then guess what? That's no. And that's all I want is to find our babies. That's it. And I talked to her this morning, and I really wanted to tell her that I am completely sorry because we were entrusted with her children, and they came to us, and they became our children, and we named them. And they are our children, and so we want them back. So please, if y'all could get back on what you guys were doing, we should be able to get a hold of somebody, but they took all of our tech, so they wanted to, I guess, just rule us out, which makes sense. That's part of the investigation. So that's pretty much it.
Have you guys talked to the police all last night?
Yes.
What? So you guys willfully gave them your
Everything.
technology,
Yes.
the car.
Yes.
Did they get it? How did they get a search warrant? Did you
I
guys?
don't see why they got one, but they got one. We
Yeah,
would
they
have let them
didn't
take
need one,
anything.
but-
We would have let them take everything. We let them come in and search with us. We asked them to come do that.
What did they take?
Just tech. And that's it. Like our phones.
From the house? Did they?
I guess, should I answer that? Or?
Answer it to us, yeah.
Okay. So into the okay, and I guess I don't even know.
I see. Yeah, we seriously felt like we needed to be out here. We did. Again, we were told the best are out here looking already. Just to stay put, they have more questions. There was literally a cop with us the whole time in there.
He had sitting down. We would ask him to go help. They had to sit
Said
down.
nope.
He said, no, we got the best out there.
So
We
it's
need
not-
you guys here in case we have more
I
questions.
don't want you guys thinking
We
we
don't.
didn't try. We actually
We
looked
tried.
before we called the
We looked,
police.
yes.
And I imagine the mind-boggling part is the search for information. What happened? Where are you?
Yes.
Et cetera, et cetera.
And we're, yeah.
And just so we are able to present the information correctly, at what time did you guys notice your kids went missing, and at what time were they reported missing to the police?
It's about, I believe, I think it was about 4:30, going on 5. It was getting dark, like I said. 5-ish. That's about that. That's when everything played out.
And then when did you guys call the police to report them missing?
I don't,
After we searched
yeah.
a little bit around here, it was dark, so we definitely we got worried.
Would you say it was maybe within an hour, a couple hours?
No, it was within minutes of us getting finished with our search. It was within minutes.
What do you guys want people at home to understand about this situation? For them, you know, even speaking about what you guys are feeling is difficult. What do you want them at home to understand about this whole situation?
We're going through it. It's difficult. I mean, everybody's making their own their own conclusions. They don't know anything. We're not sure like everything. We're not sure. We said what we knew, and if anybody has seen them or anything, please call the police department.
Would you be willing to provide pictures, or do you have any?
I have older pictures. All my newest were on my phone.
Okay, that's good.
A lot of people are speaking of this as, you know, after the math, past tense. I want to talk about your kids in present tense. What kind of boys are these? Tell us about the boys.
Very playful, very rambunctious, and they do love to wrestle. They do love to kind of get rough with each other.
Kids.
They're kids. Of course, they would love to go out, but so during the pandemic, we weren't trying to go, you know, out here. And so we stayed inside. Yes, we did. We searched before we called the cops. That's what we were saying.
What time did they come up missing?
They came missing right before it got dark. And then we called, I searched that property, I drove around this neighborhood right here. I even talked to a gentleman on that side, on one of those streets over there. I said, did you see some little black kids? And that's the way I was going to come, but when I came back home, I decided to call the cops because it was dark. They couldn't have got away that fast.
And why did it take 2 people to go in the house and leave 2 kids out here by themselves? It should have been 1 parent and 1 parent right here watching the child, not 2 parents going in the house and leaving 2 little kids out here by themselves for 10 minutes.
No, they were in the backyard. And the back gate was
out
open.
the backyard.
And the back gate was open, and I was getting wood
So
from
you
this
guys
lot.
being unresponsible and left the gate open, left some little kids outside with the gate open.
Sorry, sorry, you guys were talking about your boys who are, you know, I understand. For a mother, a mother's intuition, I know you were saying, and we'll get your names after this, but you were saying how you feel like they're in this area. Do you feel the same way? And what is the intuition? What is the sense you get? What do you think happened to your boys? Do you think someone took them? Do you think they're lost? Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely know they're not walking around. They're not that kind. They do not just roam around. You know, these patches. They definitely, I think definitely would have been picked up or something.
That was my assumption.
Have they ever taken off?
No.
Nope.
They've never taken off?
No.
You guys are new to Cal City, right?
Yep.
How long have you guys been living here?
3 months.
It's crazy because y'all say y'all came out looking for the kids and y'all got neighbors that say y'all ain't even came out looking for the kids.
The neighbors weren't out here.
We were looking.
We were looking.
I'm just saying, bro, it's crazy, bro. I got kids in my own.
Where do you live?
Them little boys that y'all raising, them is my
I
biological family.
understand,
I
bro.
don't leave kids outside.
No, I understand.
I have 9 kids. I have 9 kids.
There's outside in the backyard
I'm
and I was
gonna
watching.
leave my kids unattended, not
Leave
even
for you,
for a
like,
minute.
you sit here, you sit
I
here.
get, we get that, we get it.
They're in the
We
backyard.
feel
You
it.
don't even look like you worried.
But you said
I've been going through it all the
y'all
2
know y'all
days.
finna go inside the house, right? Y'all are foster parents, right?
No, we're adopted
Y'all
parents.
adopted them,
Yeah,
right?
they are
Okay,
children.
shut the gate. Go in the house. Why did it take both of y'all to go in the house and leave them outside by themselves?
I understand.
And y'all know the gate was
Why haven't
open.
y'all been out with the people around the neighborhood looking for
We already told on camera.
I saw y'all on no cameras last night. I
No.
didn't even see y'all out here praying with them people. Them people was supposed to take care of my nephew. Not this, not supposed to have it.
I understand.
Y'all was supposed to take care of my nephew.
I understand.
If anybody's watching at home who knows anything, or if somebody who has these kids, if they're watching, what is your message to them?
The message has always been, as soon as possible, call the California City Police Department. And please bring our babies home. And that's that.
That's one of the reasons why we actually didn't.
This is the reason why. Because we were under orders to stay in the house and stay because they're going to need to contact us. And we cannot go outside, and that was the issue. We were under orders by the cops to stay home in the house and let the professionals look.
But you just said that they were your children. If they were your children, regardless of what somebody told you, wouldn't you want to go look for them?
Well, we have cops actually posted in the front door right there. I
We
totally
totally
understand.
understand. If you guys please, if you guys actually have that question, you should ask the police officer.
The situation, but do you see how it seems that
Yes.
that the kids was left unattended, you guys went in the house, and then the kids disappeared?
Exactly, and that's the way we try to figure it out.
It doesn't make sense. How did they disappear? How did they go out? You guys had the house supervised already, and my question is, why were they the only 2 children out? Where were the rest of the kids?
The rest kids were gone.
Who?
They left. They went on vacation.
So they didn't.
No, because they're too young. We watched them. And it turns out that happened.
All right, just really quickly before we get first and last names, spelling of both for both of you guys.
So, excuse me, say it again.
Just first and last name,
Spelling of who or what?
or just your first and last name.
Our names.
Trezell West
Jacquline
is
West.
Trezell West.
Okay, and for you,
JACQUELINE.
I'm sorry, one more time.
JACQUELINE.
West.
Yes.
We'll let you go.
All right.
Sorry.
No,